to get to like 100,000 earnings. A lot of this, honestly, is just putting in the time.
What are the revenue streams that you see of creators at that level?
The best creators are the ones who like establish relationships. We had a creator, she was doing a partnership with Nerds. It wasn't even the candy. If you have a phone and an Instagram account or whatever, you can be a creator. I can be one. You can be one. Anyone can do this.
Welcome to Stay Independent Podcast, your space for tangible, actionable ways to build an independent artist career. Today, we're walking through how to scale from $1 to $100,000 per year on social media as an artist. To help us navigate this, our guest is a talent manager for 30 content creators with a combined 4 million followers. She specializes in managing micro-influencers and turning their platforms into profitable businesses. Please welcome Claudia.
Hi, how are you?
So one thing that and we talked a bit before this interview, that I'm constantly trying to do, I think, in like the way that I approach the music industry, is just learning from other industries, and especially other like entertainment or marketing industries. Like in the way that I approach content, a lot of what I've learned is from comedians. And there's nothing more independent than a comedian's business. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times it's one dude with maybe a tour manager or something like that. But yeah, today I just want to hear from you, like, you know, how can artists take what you know and incorporate it into their businesses? So starting out from the very beginning, $1, you're basically making no money. Mm-hmm. Like, how do artists get started in this world?
Well, I think from the lens of a talent manager who works specifically with content creators, a lot of times I tell my talent that, you know, if I had all the answers, then I'd be rolling in the dough, but I don't. So we kind of have to start at just throwing stuff at the wall, right? So putting out a bunch of content, which I'm sure every music artist hates hearing that, because they have to create the music, do the videos, do tours, and then on top of that, market all of it with content. So I'm sure that's very frustrating on their end. But the proof is in the pudding. You're gonna have to post a lot, and you're gonna, when you're starting out, honestly, don't, you know, pigeonhole yourself to one thing like, oh, I just make, you know, pasta. No, make pasta. You know, maybe you're getting ready, or maybe you're walking your dog. Just try a bunch of different things. Try different things, try them in different formats, and see what sticks. And your audience is going to give you that feedback through either likes, comments, engagements, shares, whatever it may be. So I think step one is, again, throwing stuff at the wall, trying a bunch of different things, and seeing what works. So I guess for a music artist, is it, you know, I've seen girls who, you know, they get ready and then they also sing. I kind of like those videos. Or, you know, seen other people kind of, you know, maybe position themselves as if someone else is recording them and do things like that. So I think for a music artist, yeah, it's just like trying different vessels, seeing what resonates with different followings and followers, and taking notes and then refining from there.
Yeah. Something you named and mentioned before we got on was talking about an account's engagement rate. Mm-hmm. How do you make sure from the beginning that is something that you are building in a good direction?
Yes, you got to nurture your garden, the garden that you have, right? So I think every creator, every musician, every artist, especially in 2025, is primed to think the more following, the better. That's not incorrect. But for example, from my standpoint, a brand might reach out to me and say, okay, we need creators who, they make pasta and they've got, or, you know, they make food content and they have 100,000 following. There are so many creators who do that, right? But the brand is going to choose the creator who is going to create the best results for them, right? So either it's usually one of two things. Like it's they're looking for reach, so they're trying to find a bunch of new folks, or they're looking for a return on their investment, so they're trying to create conversions, create sales. So all of that being said, if I give them, you know, 5 creators who are at 100,000 following, but only one of them has like an engagement rate that's maybe industry standard is usually like 2 to 4%. But if I give them a creator with a 10% engagement rate, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, yes, yes, yes. So it's just really important to nurture the following that you have. Engagement rate is way more rare and I think monetizable than following. So replying to those comments, making videos based off of those comments. I think Gail, she was the one, and I think it was a little bit industry planty, but she was the one who had like, you know, someone commented on her video, like, make a song about the alphabet. You know, so it did that did end up being her like manager or something, but or from her label, but still they knew what to do. So exactly. Yeah, definitely engaging with whoever. If you start posting stuff and you've got 10 comments, you need to reply to all 10. You need to be engaging with all 10. You got to kind of figure out a way to nurture those 10 comments, those 10 followers, whoever it may be at point zero.
If you don't have 10 comments on your videos, how do you get there?
You got to switch up the content. Obviously, it's not working. So what you're doing isn't working. You have to silence is feedback as well. So if you're creating something and no one's responding, maybe the content isn't bad, but maybe you're just not editing it correctly, or you need to have a catchier hook. You've got to play around and see what resonates, because the silence is going to be feedback for you as well that what you're doing, unfortunately, isn't working.
Right. So, what do you with engagement rate, like, what do you feel like artists can, I don't know, like, why do you think that would be important to an artist? Like, how could it build their business, and how can that why is that important as like a foundational element of them starting out in content?
Yeah, well, I'll take it back to actually when I worked in music and I was working with Luke Combs. So I started working with his team when Hurricane, his first ever radio single, went #1. My first day was literally the day after it went #1. So he had a label. He was already larger size, right? But I'll never forget my first show with him. It was at, oh my gosh, what's that one in East Nashville? Oh, I'm so blanking. East? It might be Basement East. Yeah, I think it's Basement East. He had a show there. It was obviously not a huge venue, right? But packed to the brim. And I actually remember everything we did up until the day of the show, which was he did a radio show, and I think he put out something on his social media, and he was like, the first 14 people to like DM me, like, you can come to this radio show. So we got that organized. Then we were still holding giveaways for the night show at Basement East as well. We just had people continue to like have buzz about this and engage. And then we were able to pack out that room. And it's not a huge room, you know, but there is something to be said, and I'll never forget. And I was like, oh my God, there are a lot of, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but there's a lot of MFers in here.
No,
like it was packed to the brim. So I hope that kind of like did that address your point?
Yeah. Do you feel like there was like a personal approach maybe to like...
So personal. Like, I think because, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, I used to run his Facebook. Like, I used to message all the people that would message him, I would message back. Like, I never said I was Luke, but I would always just say, like, thanks for your support. Like, and, I never said, like, from Luke. But that really went far. And then, some people it was funny because, like, or maybe a little sad, but, people were coming up with these, like, kind of parasocial relationships with him, like, messaging him, like, every couple days or so. But, he did a great job. I mean, I give it all to, like, his manager, Chris Cappy. Like, his whole motto, and I'm sure you're familiar, is fans first. He really did an amazing job of putting his fans first, making them the priority over, anyone else. And he has his fan club, the Bootleggers. And I think creators should also adopt having fan clubs as well. Like, I've seen how well it works in the country music world, and I'm sure across other genres of music. But just like prioritizing the people who are there. When we had that show at Basement East, like Luke, he just had his first radio #1, but he prioritized all those people who were in his Facebook fan club at that point and who were following him on Instagram and on social media at that point.
I love what I'm writing this down. Prioritize the people that are already here.
Yeah, you got to.
I feel like so often it's like well, you think that for an artist, maybe they're like, who do I not have? Or like, who can I get into the, like instead of just engendering this relationship with people that are just, even if that's like one person,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Awesome. All right. So that's kind of how to get started.
Mm-hmm.
The next stop on our journey here is $10,000. So I kind of put it at that benchmark because it's not like you're making, it's more like supplemental income, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like how does a creator in your world, and then maybe like what can an artist learn to like make supplemental income from their social media presence?
Yeah. So I guess if you're encroaching, $10,000 in earnings, you've obviously, done something right. So you have like identified the content and the vertical that works for you. I'm speaking strictly in the creator space right now. So you've identified that. So you know what's working. And you've been able to probably like integrate either who you are or things you like into that. So now it's time to monetize that. So let's say it's like I'm the creator and every morning I'm getting ready, I have my Beats headphones in. I'm able to take the data from all of these get ready with me videos with my Beats headphones and, potentially reach out to Beats and say, hey, I've got however many followers, let's say 10,000 followers. I've got 10,000 followers, my get ready with me. I do one every single morning. I feature Beats. I get, here are the comments asking me to send the link to the Beats. Could we structure a deal where either I get commission, either, we do a brand partnership if you have any campaign initiatives coming up, kind of exploring all avenues. So I'm sure that on the content side of things, you have been doing things that people are familiar with now. And now you can leverage that familiarity and go straight to like partners that can help you, create some supplemental income. On the fan side of things, there are probably people showing up to my Get Ready With Me's every single morning that I'm posting them. So, if I am, I don't know, let's say I've identified a problem, like I can never find a blush that works for me. Maybe I start the conversation of like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to actually like make my own like blush line. Like, would you guys maybe sign up for my newsletter for more updates or, I've got samples. Can I mail these out? It's about getting your following engaged in what you want to do. So that's kind of like a rough example. I think in terms of like music, kind of the same thing, right? So if you're making music, maybe you're getting ready and that song is playing in the background all the time. And people are asking for the link, or you kind of speak to what you're doing as a musician when you're getting ready. So like, oh, I'm in the process of like doing, this new track. Would you guys want to hear it? Just creating, again, familiarity with your following, to then leverage that. Hey guys, come to my show. Hey guys, buy my new single. And I think people overlook that element specifically, like buying music, because we live in a streaming space. I think especially in Nashville, a lot of people are still consuming traditional forms of audio, so like CDs, purchasing on iTunes and things like that. And if
You'd
these
be
people
surprised.
And I think if these people are showing up for your videos and your content on a consistent basis, it is not crazy to ask them, buy this. At the bare minimum, start getting their emails so you can I think email and text, people overlook those mailing groups. For me, I haven't been on my personal social media in months. So if any of my friends have posted anything, I haven't seen it. So I think people overlook the fact that people take social media breaks and things like that. So, getting this following, leveraging their familiarity, and then having a way to connect with them outside of social media, I think is going to be really important at this stage. And you should be able to like monetize certain things to where, you're making a couple thousand and you're hopefully at that 10K mark.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you at supplemental income, $10,000 a year, maybe, you've identified the content that works for you, a vertical that works for you. Mm-hmm. And I mean, inherent to that as an artist, like I'm working with an artist right now that is, she just wrote an album about motherhood. And so we've really like honed in on like moms, and they're starting to find the album and post about it, do user generated content or using the songs. But I see that what I'm also hearing from you is like, all right, once that happens for you, like start pushing them to somewhere off of social media that you own, like an email list, a text list.
Owning something, email, text, if you've got a product, like for your client's example, her music, or if she has a show, or if she has a merch, or whatever it is that she's doing, getting them to commit to you. And you have to return, right? Like, don't just be like, buy this and then nothing else. You've got to continue doing these things. You've got to continue finding ways to provide for those people who are ultimately, giving a chunk of their change or whatever it may be, or even just a moment of their time or a comment to you.
Right. Yeah. So what have you, can you think of any specific examples, like completely outside of the music world, totally in your world, where like this is how a content creator first started making money? Like this is where it started for them.
Oh man. Well, most of my talent make their money off of brand deals. So again, I think that starts happening when they are identifiable. When brands are looking for talent for a campaign, they have criteria. So like, hey, we're looking for, creators who do skincare and they live in wherever, and like the creator has made themselves identifiable, if that makes sense. So that's usually the point where like you see opportunities start coming in.
So you have like a defined brand position.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? If a brand like Beats is thinking like, I want to, in the example of my client, I want to start, I want to do something with the moms, like Mother's Day is coming up, and I want more moms using our product. I'm looking for a content creator or someone online who like has like a distinct, is it known as that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and they have a couple ways of like, finding these people. Some, brands and agencies have like search engines that are able to scrape, the internet. They can type in like mom, music, Nashville, whatever, and it'll pull that. Or, you go the old fashioned way and you just have your video blow up, and then they have no choice but to kind of see it. And they'll see it if they've been looking for it on their phone, if they've been looking for mom, music, whatever, then it's going to be an easier thing to come up for them. I'm sure your, feed looks so different than mine, and we get so many different things because we probably search different things. So
yeah, definitely. What is I think I'm still searching for like that first. One question I had, when say you're looking for someone to partner with, you mentioned Beats. Like, I think that could feel, at least to me, even feel overwhelming to be like, oh, how am I going to reach out to, that's such a big company. Like, can you speak to just like how to grind and get in front of those people? Like, what approach do you take to do that?
I love this question. So, as you are probably very well aware of, with the creator industry and just this industry we live in, there are no more barriers to entry. So if you have a phone and a Instagram account or whatever, you can be a creator. I can be one. You can be one. Anyone can do this. So in order to get the attention of like Beats, for example, what I would do if I wanted to do a brand partnership with Beats, I would feature the headphones. I would make sure they're tagged or mentioned in some form. And probably every single post. There is also an element of, I know some creators like to like not mention so that they'll get more engagement on their comments, like, oh, what are those headphones? I need those headphones. What are those headphones? But I think organic content is going to actually get you further in today's like super oversaturated creator space. Organic content's like going to get you a little bit further than like having people just like, comment and beg where your things are from, or be asking questions in that sense. So that's one thing I would do. I would also DM them. Don't underestimate the power of a DM. A lot of people are using DMs like emails, so I would also shoot them a DM and say, hey, like, even nothing crazy, like, hey, I love your product. I've been featuring it every day. Would love to partner on any upcoming campaign initiatives. Can I get an email, or can we, continue this conversation here? There are also some tools that I've purchased that are able to scrape and find emails of like marketing managers and things like that. So if you want to take it to that level and be kind of like insane like me and cold email a billion times, you can do that too. But I wouldn't do that if you don't have, the data and like you've got to kind of, if you're going to email somebody, don't waste their time. You know what I mean? So make sure you've got data like, hey, my talent, or, my following loves beats. I love beats. Here are my general creative ideas. What do you think? Is there anything that we can align on in the coming future? Those are some ways to get a brand's attention, I would say.
So create content with the brand's product or whatever.
Yeah, just organic.
DM them.
Mm-hmm.
You and then maybe try to find an email.
Yeah, but I just, again, like these are, you kind of have to remember, like these are humans, right? So don't waste their time. I'm sure they get so many emails. So if you are, be professional. Man, the amount of emails that I've seen, especially from like the younger generation, that are really, Yeah. Do your research. ChatGPT is free. Like, just tell ChatGPT to make whatever you said professional and send that.
Beats is a kind of a huge brand, right?
It is. Yeah.
Do you find more success with still a quality? Not saying to like compromise on that, but just a smaller product, maybe like. Can you speak to that? Yeah,
definitely. So I've actually worked with Beats on a couple of campaigns, and they are actually, they manage their creator partnerships through an agency. So to find the best contact, what I would do for a company as big as Beats would, be reaching out to them and say, like, who is the contact that I could, connect with here? A lot of bigger companies like a Beats are probably going to have their partnerships managed by an outside marketing or advertising agency. So just a fair warning for them. And I know Beats is one of them. But for, smaller brands, it's a lot easier to, work one-on-one, like actually be creative, come up with ideas, because you're talking to like their one or two marketing people at whatever company it may be. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head. But I always prefer working. Well, I don't prefer. I love working with all of our partners, but I do find it a bit more creative and easier to get a deal made when it is a smaller company. That being said, though, also like you do have to be creative, because smaller companies sometimes don't have like a larger budget for creator campaigns, so it might be a small fee and some commission, whatever it may be. But hey, if you have a highly engaged following, those commission affiliate links are going to add up for you.
Yeah. So we've done $1 just getting started. We've done 10,000 supplemental income. Mm-hmm. Next stop is 50,000. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like almost in the realm of like you're making a living from doing this. Mm-hmm. So maybe in today's inflationary climate, it's a little more than 50,000.
Oh, but, for sure.
What sort of benchmarks are you seeing of a content creator who's taking their first step in, like, this is my first year as a content creator that's making a living from this?
So I would say, we've already spoken about how they are identifiable, but they also have identifiable content too. For example, I'm going to think of a girl off the top of my head. There's one girl I follow, and she has a series called Steak Sunday. So every Sunday she makes a different steak, or it's Steak Salad Sunday. She makes a recipe with this steak. So as a follower of her, I know to go to her account on Sunday, look up her steak recipe. I know it's consistent. So the talent who are, making a living, let's say at 50K off of social media, they're identifiable. They have identifiable content as well. So I know, I'm going to get a steak recipe from her. I'm going to get another sort of food recipe from her. I'm going to get XYZ from her. I fully know what to expect from that creator. And then I probably also, or that creator probably also has some skill set they're monetizing, right? So in addition to the brand partners that she's able to get because she has these identifiable series, right? So the brand, Hidden Valley Ranch knows like, oh, Steak Sunday, that's a big one. Like we're going to monetize on that. In addition to that, maybe she has her own line of plates or she has her own line of steak sauce or whatever it may be that she's working on. She's probably got something else, some sort of product that she's also leveraging across her following. So the brand partners, they know exactly what content they're going to leverage and place ads on. And then she's also doing things creatively on her end to, get money from her following.
Yeah. What are, I mean, how else do you, when you think of the content creators that you're working with that are making a living from this, like what sort of things are they doing that set them apart from, people that aren't?
Yeah. They're posting consistently. They've got series again. So like this Steak Sunday example I gave, they're posting consistently. They've got series. They've, with those things, they've also been able to negotiate multi-asset campaigns. So it's not just like a one-off, like, yeah, we'll do this. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's do one post a month for Steak Sunday, with Hidden Valley Ranch. They're really able to be creative in their deal making, and they're able to leverage their following, leverage their content so that they can have longer term partnerships. Another thing that I've actually neglected to say throughout this whole point is the best creators are the ones who like establish relationships. So again, it's not transactional. Maybe I don't get my partnership with Beats on the first go, but I continue this conversation, and maybe in a year, Beats is going to come to me and say, like, we've appreciated you continuing to reach out and show love. We've got something for you now. Because I think another thing that creators need to remember is that sometimes, even though they've got amazing engagement on their Beats video and things like that, it just may not align with the brand's budget, their campaign initiatives. It's a two-way street. Right. So it has to make sense on both ends. So I think that's another thing too, is there's got to be opportunities for alignment. And once you're posting more consistently, you're more identifiable in your content and your personal brand, things are going to line up a little more frequently for you.
What are ways that you can learn about a brand in a way that like, okay, I know who I am, and I feel like this brand's aligned with who I am?
Yeah. So with that, it's pretty conditional, but just, with this Steak Sunday thing, right? Like, hey, Hidden Valley, I've got this idea for a Caesar steak salad. Here's how this series is performing now. What do you guys think about being a partner here? And, they can get back to you and say, like, we'd love to do that. Hey, budget isn't aligning this quarter. Hey, we don't have any initiatives. It's kind of, there's a lot of things that are more so up in the air. I feel like sometimes people think because there are no barriers to entry in this industry, it's just like the Wild West and willy-nilly. But ultimately, I think creators need to look at themselves as advertising vessels, not to dehumanize them. But that's what they are. So I think the more that you're also able to look at yourself in that lens and not just like, I'm a creator and I get products and I make content and I get paid for it, the more you're able to see yourself as like an advertisement, I think, honestly, the better for you. Yeah.
So how do we bring this in? What are ideas you have around bringing this into the artist world? Like one thing that's been shocking, by the way, about me doing this podcast is some of the more successful independent artists that I've interviewed tell me that like 80% of their revenue comes from streaming, which is not 85% of their revenue comes from streaming, which is not what I expected. And obviously, like once you're making a living like that from your streaming, you're probably doing a lot of content around your music, and there's not a lot of space on your platform for brand partnerships and stuff like that. But I don't know, where could you see ways to like squeeze it in, or Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are so many, other individuals involved in this and dynamics, but like on your tour, is someone sponsoring the tour? Are you going to wear,
Ariat or whatever. Like, there's lots of ways, I think, to get creative. And maybe I reach out to Ariat Boots and I say, hey, I'm going on a tour. I want to exclusively wear y'all's boots. After every show, I post a reel and it has my full outfit and, you know, XYZ, maybe something along those lines. So it's a little more of like a natural integration. I would say that, you know, it's so hard because I am pretty removed from music. And that's an interesting point that you make about streaming being the number one earner for independent artists. I mean, that is extremely hard for me to believe. I'm not saying that I don't believe you, but just from when I left music back in 2022, like that didn't seem like the case.
No, I've been shocked to hear it. It's been hard for me to believe. And you know, I had another podcast that will be coming out, filmed today, where he was talking about just like holding both as true. Like, you know, I mean, yes, I am making a majority of my income from streaming, but it could be better, and especially for songwriters. You know, they're ones that are oftentimes they get screwed the worst. But all right, moving on to the last final benchmark of 100,000. You know, again, removing ourselves from the artist world and stepping back into yours. What are the benchmarks you're seeing from? I guess when I say 100,000 too, like you're kind of making it at this point, and it's you know, you're thriving in the creator space. Like, you're probably turning deals down. You're choosing who you're working with, stuff like that. I don't know. What kind of benchmarks are you seeing from creators in that range?
Yeah, so not only, you know, you are identifiable, your content is identifiable, you have a highly engaged following, your content is also going to be pretty high quality and consistent. Like, if you're doing this full time, you're posting multiple times a day, and there's just no way of getting around it. But you're not just posting, you know, oh, eating eggs, oh, whatever. It's quality stuff across the board that you are continuing to post. You've been able, again, to like leverage your following for whatever it is, a product that you have, a newsletter. You've been creative in your deal making. So, you know, yeah, I'll do a reel and I'll also include the affiliate link in my newsletter that has 1,000 subscribers. You've just kind of hit almost like every avenue you can in terms of monetization, and you've been extremely creative in doing that. That is probably, and you have relationships with these brands, right? So they keep coming back. They know you, they know the quality of your work, and they know the results they're going to get. A lot of this, honestly, to get to like 100,000 earnings is just putting in the time. And I think, again, a lot of this creator industry is extremely transactional, but those who have been able to create relationships with a brand directly through their following, you know, their following trust. Like, actually, I'll bring up Luke, for example. You know, he always wears Blue Otter polarized sunglasses, a Columbia shirt. I don't know what type of shoes, but he always wears the exact same thing. So the amount of people I see who look like Luke and who like Luke, who also are wearing PFG, who are wearing fishing shirts to a concert, you know what I mean? He has created such trust that Columbia is a great brand and that Blue Otter is an amazing sunglass brand. I'm sure he not only gets paid to wear the shirts, actually don't quote me, but I could guess that he gets paid to wear the shirt. He gets paid a percentage of like sales. I know he has also like product collaborations with those brands. So he is like he has deliverables, he has affiliate, he has his own product lines. He is like milking his relationship with Columbia. And I don't mean that in a you know, a parasitic way. I just mean that like he is taking that partnership and making the best out of it, as opposed to like, oh yeah, I've got a shirt with Columbia, or, you know, I'm doing a Columbia reel, and I'm doing a Beats reel, and I'm doing an Ariat reel, and I'm doing this. Like, he has really milked everything out of that relationship, and that is, I think, what the top creators are doing as well. They're not just like one and done. They're really seeing what all they can do to create, obviously, a return for Columbia. Like I said, these guys are going out and they're buying PFGs and they're wearing them to the shows. So
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because you're right. Like, I feel like if you go to a show like, oh, what am I gonna as a guy wear to a Luke Combs show? Like I immediately have like an image of those shirts come to my mind.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of become synonymous with that, like that look. And I feel like that goes back to just having a really strongly defined brand position where it like, you know, him being like the everyman, like approachable truth teller is just like it radiates out through his like clothing choices, you know, which
really
is just
does.
like I know he had a partnership with Crocs.
Yeah, he did.
And like that's not a pretentious brand, you know.
No.
You're not taking your self too seriously in Crocs. But like to have that partnership with Crocs, you have to go all the way back to like just being like true to who you are and being honest about that, and then just like hammering that.
Yeah,
I feel like,
and you know, Crocs, they saw how engaged his following is too. So speaking to that, right? Like we know that we can make a shoe and people love Luke, so they're going to buy it. So Luke has Luke at every level has, you know, nurtured the people who are there. Like even when he did his sold out show at Bridgestone back in, I guess that was 2019. That was the last show I think I worked with him. We held 2 separate parties for his fan club, one before the show and one after. Like he, even at that level, sold out Bridgestone. I think that's probably the largest venue in Nashville, if I were to guess. He still is able to like put things together for his people at a smaller level, because we did one at Ole Red and we did one at, I think it was called like Bootleggers Inn or something like that. So, you know, again, at every level, he's really been nurturing that. They appreciate it. And so then when he puts out a shoe or he says, we wear PFGs, then they're going to buy that shoe and they're going to buy that PFG.
Yeah. Well, why do you think they're so committed to him? Like, what would you say?
He's given them attention. You know what I mean? Like I said, we were responding to every single Facebook message. He's putting out things specifically in his fan club. He's also he's a real dude. And like, I've worked with Luke, I've worked with other artists, and I have to say that like he is an anomaly in just how genuine of a person he is, and it really shows. There are some artists who I'm like, wow, like how could you even behave like that? And Luke is not one of those people. He is so real and just kind, and there's, you know, like it just shows. And I think people see that, and like the way he structures his business, he wants his fans to feel heard and seen and felt and special. It's not about him, it's about them ultimately. Like he wants to, obviously he loves what he does, and he's great. I think that's something that we haven't really addressed. He is phenomenal, and the top creators are also phenomenal at what they do. Luke is the best of the best. He's an incredible singer. Content creators who are making a living, they are absolutely incredible. Video editors, they have an eye. They, you know, have this like photographic whatever to them. That's something that I think we've kind of neglected to say, but these are people who are also the best at what they do, and Luke is the best at what he does. So in addition to him loving his fans, being so supremely talented, you know, just being authentic, he's kind of got it all. And I think creators as well, like they are the best at what they do. They love on their fans. They're super authentic in everything that they do. It's just a recipe for success. Yeah.
There's a business structure to like support his operation, but none of that really matters if he isn't like, you know, like the best at what he does.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Which is probably something that you can go back and really lean into at $1, you know, at the entry level.
Yeah,
is just
we should have maybe brought
it's like just getting good at what you say you're good at, you know.
Also,
like,
I actually want to speak to something that I don't think a lot of people know about Luke. He went viral back on Vine, and I don't think a lot of people know that. But he actually, you know, had success off of virality, and I also do think that is kind of, I don't want to say like a key, because I think consistency overall is the key, but having a video go viral really, really helps. And I think for Luke to, kind of appear the way he does and to have the voice that he does, that is what, made a viral video for him. Same thing with these creators. Like, I work with only home, food, and lifestyle talent, so kind of like your Martha Stewart types. But when they have these incredible homes where they show, like, oh, this is what my home used to look like, and now it looks like this. Like, when you're able to grab an audience like that, and they're able to make that video viral, that momentum does help. Momentum always does help. So, positioning yourself, like, with your mom singer, like, I don't know if, not trying to like exploit anything of her, but maybe she has like a story of a negative time in her pregnancy or in motherhood that might resonate or might be shocking to people, and is able to create that viral moment. You do have to kind of shill content sometimes in that respect. I kind of hate saying it, but it's a business ultimately, so having that shock factor or that like wow moment is also gonna help in creating viral content and creating that momentum for you to really get the ball rolling.
Yeah. All right. So one thing that you mentioned was creators at the $100,000+ range are, they're squeezing, they're making money from several different like avenues. Mm-hmm. And I think I missed a couple. Can you just like list like, what are the revenue streams that you see of creators at that level?
Yeah, so like on the creator side, again, they have relationships with these brands. So like Bear Paint, for example. Not only is a creator going to do like a deliverable based partnership with them, but they're also going to have their own paint color, and they're also going to have an affiliate code. So they've got the money, the flat fee money from the reel. They've got residual earnings coming from an affiliate code for anyone who uses that code and buys Bear Paint. And then if they've got a specific product, a SKU or like a line or something like that with that brand, obviously there's going to be some sort of revenue share deal on that. And so that's, one brand partner, 3 revenue streams. In addition to that, like again, on the example of this home creator, maybe they've come up with their own line of drills like that are friendly for, I don't know, females, something like that. It feels a little diminutive. Something like that. Pink drills, like, yeah. So maybe there's something like that. They've got they've identified a problem. They've also like used their following as like a soundboard for that problem. So then they can, create that and then monetize that as well. There's also other avenues too that they're probably doing, as well. Like again, like affiliate links, things like that, especially if you've like created trust amongst your following. Any link you share, you're probably going to like create revenue off of that. And if not, you're going to have data to show brands like, hey, when I do share stuff, people at least like click it and check it out and see what's up. That's a huge pitching tool, is that conversion data that you may have as a creator. And then also they monetize their skills off of social media as well. So a lot of my home creators decorate homes on the side as well. So they have a forum and people can be like, oh, will you like do some, online interior decorating, sometimes even in person. We've had like in-person projects that we've done as well. So they've monetized the skills that they've showcased off on social media into, a business. So like, again, they're designing people's homes, whether it's like, online, in person, whatever it may be, they've created some sort of other business.
Yeah. One thing that I'm taking from this talk is, I feel like I know that I see this on YouTube a lot. For instance, there's this content creator who builds and remodels homes, and he's got an affiliate. He's got like a storefront in Amazon. With like every single one of his tools. If you're looking at him doing like something and you're like, wow, what is that tool? It's probably in his Amazon storefront.
Yes.
So, and it's just like a completely passive way for him to make money. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there are ways like, the easiest place that my mind goes to, I feel like, is some sort of affiliate for like if it's a female singer, like some clothing line, or aren't there like a similar thing is like an Amazon storefront, but for clothes. Like, isn't that a thing that okay?
Yeah, it's called. Well, there's a couple. There's LTK. There's Shop My. There you can have an Amazon storefront. You know, again, to bring up maybe like Luke again. Let's say, you know, I mean, not that he needs an affiliate link or anything like that, but let's say he has a link for his PFGs and he has a link for whatever boot. I don't know what boots he wears. You know, people are going to go to that and click it. And if he, you know, maybe he posts something like, if you want details on my outfit from tonight's show, like head to the link in my bio. And maybe he has like, you know, on Amazon storefront or LTK or Shop My, you can have specific like outfit from, you know, the 723 show, or outfit from Jacksonville or wherever he performed. So, yeah, you can definitely be creative in that respect too. And then again, if he's always wearing Columbia, like maybe he's just like got in his bio, like use my code Luke10 for 10% off at Columbia, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you can think of that, I don't know, that like, what's the weirdest way that a content creator, you know, has made money? Like a most unexpected way?
So actually, funny enough with the Amazon storefront. So we had a creator, she was doing a partnership with Nerds. It wasn't even the candy. This was years ago.
Yeah,
this was actually, I think, kind of either when I lived in New York or when I just moved to Miami. And part of the concept was that she had to do a DIY. So she was like, here's how to decorate a mirror like this for, you know, only, I don't know, $10, something like that. And the decorations were supposed to look like Nerds. So she decorated this mirror, like it was like with this, I don't even know, but basically all the pieces decorated looked like Nerds. And then she just mentioned like, all the supplies are on my storefront. The video went viral. She sold out that product on Amazon, and her earnings from her affiliate was $12,000.
Yeah.
$12,000. Yeah. She made more on the affiliate earnings from selling out these products for the DIY project. That was more than like the collaboration fee. So by a large margin. Yeah. So you can, you know, there's ways.
Well, I mean, I feel like like even for an artist that doesn't have a huge following, but is just prepared for that moment when they go viral, to have, you know, just have that available, you know?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, what's the easiest way a client has ever made money?
Easiest. No, I know that's actually a great question. And I know my heart goes out to artists because like you have to invest so much time and money into making your songs, getting them recorded, getting the music video done, your styling, your hair, tour. Like it is like you have to invest so much time and money to hope that you're going to get that back off of music. So my heart really goes out to musicians. And I think that is so unfair, you know, for that to be the situation for artists, especially new artists. And I think it's really unfair for labels to take advantage of artists the way they do. It's essentially a label deal is just a predatory loan. I love that you're holding a stand.
You're not going to...
Yeah, I would never tell anyone to sign a label deal, especially in this day and age where you can just, I'd rather ask my 1,000 following for $5 and then I've got $5,000 or $50. You know what I mean? That's $50,000.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to make money is to, I think what I would say is figure out a skill and like monetize it. So again, like I'm trying to think of like a music specific example, but maybe if you've created like some sort of product that auto masters your like whatever your music, and you just are going to sell it for like $5, like something like that, like identifying again a problem and monetizing that, and marketing that and like leveraging that, I think is like kind of like, maybe I want to say like the easiest way. You're going to have to like talk about it a lot, of course, but if you've got a product that works, it's going to catch. So like
Yeah.
something that identifies a problem that works really well, something like that. I feel like maybe that's not easy because then you have to create a whole product. But if you have if you have a skill to monetize, like I would say like that is like the easiest at whatever following you're at.
There's an artist, and I mean this wouldn't apply to like a vast majority of artists, but there's this content creator on TikTok that I followed. I've followed him for years, since like YouTube days. I think his name's Froggy Fresh, and he does these like, he basically does like Cameo, and he'll write like a little song, and like a lot of times it's like him like dissing whoever bought the song. So like a friend will buy it for another one of their friends, and it's just him dissing. But then he'll post it on TikTok too, and it just creates this like. I heard him saying one time like I've had to pause like the Cameo because I have too many. Yeah. But I know that like Songfinch is like a pretty, you know, those types of platforms where you write custom songs. But I don't know, like I feel like it's worth, and I'll just go to like what you said earlier, you know, having 1,000 loyal fans. You named this earlier, having 1,000 loyal fans and thinking about a $5, $10, $50 product that they would be interested in.
Yeah, and using them as a sounding board too, right? So if you have 1,000 fans, what do y'all want? Like, or, you know, like if obviously they're going to want something in relation to who you are and the content you create. But like, hey guys, I was thinking of this. Like, would you buy this? Like really using them as a sounding board because they're there. And if they keep showing up, like, heck yeah, like use them as a sounding board, ask them, get them as involved in the process, you know, as makes sense. And yeah, like just nurture.
Well, and it feels like too, like what that takes is, I feel like a lot of the paradigm that I see a lot of times in the music industry is like, especially in country, to be honest, it's just like, they look at country fans as just like numbers and like, you know, just kind of like faceless people that like are listening to the radio, and there's not really like a strong connection with who those people are or the fan base that they have. And if you kind of go in the opposite direction of that, where it's, I really want to connect with whoever's here, one, you know, just to start, but just like a smaller group of people, like, you know, be less focused on like, I feel like a lot of times this is what like a label deal does for you too, is it's like, it takes so many like streams to make a living as an artist on a label deal that there isn't really any like, they're not really like trying to get you to niche down. They want you to be like really generic,
as marketable as possible. Yeah,
as marketable as possible. Don't say anything like politically to like, don't say anything that makes waves. And what you end up getting is like these just really like
over and over.
Yeah, the same thing, some just really generic, like bland. And I think that maybe like independent artists see that and they're like, oh, that's what I need to be. But what we're saying today, and what I'm hearing you say from the content creator world is like, do the opposite.
Yes.
Like be as specific as you can, have like a really strong brand position, really connect with a small group of people, and just believe that that's what's going to carry you through and ultimately like be the foundation of your career. Because you see that with artists, you see that with content creators, but you also see that now with like artists like Luke Combs, like you've mentioned, and even farther back, Jimmy Buffett. Like I feel like he was someone that I've heard that like he used to send like, he had like a newspaper for his fans. So he had like this fan club where that he would get like their address, like maybe even before email. Yeah. And he sent out like this newspaper thing, and it was entertaining and it had like different stuff on it, but like, you know, ultimately was also an avenue to be like, hey, I have new music out. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, cool. This was a awesome chat, and I appreciate you like taking the time to to do it and share your thoughts and expertise in this area. So thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate
well,
it.
I hope it was helpful. I've been so removed from the music industry, so I hope it does translate in a sense to, musicians who are independent. I'm always cheering you on. So I'm happy about what you're doing and the avenue that you're creating for them. And any way I can support, independent folks, especially from Nashville, I'm always happy to do that.